So,
Yes.
hey, well, welcome to our fellowship meeting for January. Welcome to all of our guests this morning. It's wonderful to have people come and join us for the meeting. I wonder, could we do brief introductions? Just everybody say where you are, and if you're a member and what your classification is. Starting with, let's say, Tammy.
Well, I'm the secretary of RECCO, as we call ourselves, the Rotary E-Club of Canada 1, and been the secretary for quite a while, a past president, and I live in Red Deer, Alberta.
Okay.
Great. David, I'm just going by the order. It's on my screen.
Yeah.
My name is David Werrett. I'm in Rocky County, 7 kilometers north of Cochrane, and I'm retired. And I had my own company selling recycling equipment.
Great, Chris.
Okay, Chris Cheeseman, retired professor, living on Salt Spring Island, currently in not in Campeche, in Palenque, and heading off to the waterfalls this morning to spend the day there.
Jill.
Oh, okay. Jill Taylor, married to Chris. We were discussing 14 years ago, and we met through Rotary. The Rotarian dating service really went for us. But we used to belong to the Salt Spring Island Club and a few clubs before then, but it folded. So we are very happy members of RECCO. Oh, and my translation services is my
Great. And Bill.
classification.
Yeah, I'm Bill Gordon. I'm the newest member, just being inducted today, so that makes me the newest. My classification is educational services. I was a middle school and high school educator and counselor for 44 years, and of course now retired.
Great.
I'm in Sherwood Park, Alberta.
Sorry. Yeah, Sherwood Park, right. Doug.
Good morning, Judy. My name is Doug Dyer. I'm on the I'm sitting lakeside in beautiful Chapala, Mexico. My classification is, I'm a charter member of the club, and my classification is a global nomad.
Great. Neil.
Well, good morning, everyone. Neil Rogers. I live in sunny southern Nova Scotia, and I'm was past president of the RECCO Club. And I will prove to you that it is sunny here in Nova Scotia.
It's snow. Good.
It's snowy too.
No.
So anyway, that's I am. I'm still working, so that's why I got to leave it in a half hour's time. So anyway, I might miss your speech, Bill. I'm sorry about that,
but Jim.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jim Ferguson. I'm a charter member of the Rotary E-Club of Canada 1 and coming to you from Stony Plain, where it's nice and sunny here too. My classification is pharmacy, so a retired pharmacist. Pleased to see everybody here.
And Jim is also a past president of our club and a past district governor for Rotary District 5370, which our club is a member of. And I'm going to just say, who is that? Joan.
Yes, thank you. I live outside of Bastrop, Texas, which is close to Austin, Texas. And I'm a retired educator, and my classification is actually hospitality because we have cabins on a ranch that we live on in Texas. And so people come and see our Texas Longhorns and our pine trees and so forth. I've been in Rotary, I believe, about 16 years, past president of our E-Club, and a member of SRAG. So the environment is very important to me. And I'm very pleased to join you today.
Oh, great, and welcome. Cynthia.
Hi, I guess I'm the second newest member. Um, I am a freelance writer. I don't know, I'm a volunteer. I do lots of volunteer work. My husband and I, he's a Rotarian as well. We do lots of projects in Ecuador, and we're heading there in 3 weeks to do more work. So that's me.
Thank you, Cynthia. Kim.
Hi, I'm Kim Dominguez. I live in Canmore, Alberta, which is just outside Banff National Park. And I guess my classification was engineer, I think.
Great. Juanita.
Hello, I live in Laredo, Texas, in South Texas, and I joined the E-Club a couple of years ago, and as president, I'm very fortunate to be working with great Rotarians, and we wanted to visit another E-Club. We're the only E-Club in District 5870, so Joan and I decided to come and visit you all and see if maybe we could partner in some way or other.
Oh, that's wonderful. Angel.
Well, my name is Ángel Blanco. I live in Las Rozas. It's about 26 kilometers northwest of Madrid. My classification is also engineering, and the snow what we had yesterday is all gone.
That's good.
So as one of my friends say on the past said, God put it there and God is going to take it away. He's moving away.
That's great. And Roger.
I'm Roger Kelley. I'm in Calgary, Alberta. My classification, I think, generally is environmental education, but probably more specifically freshwater stream restoration.
Great. Kitty.
Good morning. I'm Kitty Butchko. I'm an associate member of this club. I don't have a voice this morning, so you'll have to forgive me. My classification is education/internet. And I live in Sarnia, Ontario, Canada, which is an hour north of Detroit, Michigan. And I've joined Rotary in 2003, and I've been a member of various clubs, but I was a charter member of the Rotary E Club of the Caribbean, District 7020. And I'm also a member of several Rotary action groups, one of which is ESRAG. So we've got a lot in common.
Mm-hmm. And Kitty also puts together our weekly meetings that are posted every week on our website. Great job.
Thanks.
Keith.
Hi, I'm Keith Evans. I'm the treasurer of RECCO. We should say that we were the first E-Club in Canada. That's why we're called E-Club of Canada 1. We wanted to call ourselves something else, but Rotary insisted that we be called Canada 1. So we are. My classification, I think, is corporate lawyer, although I'm retired from that position, and I live just outside of London in the United Kingdom.
Great, thank you. Kit and Dieter.
So Dieter's asked me to speak. Sadly, Kitty, I haven't lost my voice. He's probably grateful for that. Anyway, so we're in Medicine Hat, Alberta right now. Dieter is a retired judge, also called a justice in Alberta. I'm retired special populations. We're both members of the Rotary Club of Medicine Hat, and I'm an associate member of RECCO and love it. Our special passions are working to help Ukrainians through this mess.
Great, thanks. And Lisa.
Hi, my name's Lisa Jensen. Beacon here. I'm in transit here using Red Arrow Wi-Fi.
Oh dear.
Hopefully everybody can hear me. So I'm just coming into Red Arrow. And I live in Edmonton. Been a member of RECCO since last May or June, and happy to be so. And my classification is Indigenous Conservation.
Thank you. And I'm Judy Brown, and I'm the president of RECCO right now. Also past district governor for our district. Okay, next on our agenda is Tammy is going to introduce Roger, who's going to be speaking to us today.
Thank you, Judy. Well, very happy to be introducing Roger. We met him in person for the first time last June at the International Convention in Calgary, and knew right away that he would fit well with our club. Roger and his wife Suzanne they lived in Burlington, Washington for a long time, where they were heavily involved in the Rotary Club, lots of countries and projects, which I'm sure he'll tell us about. And they moved to Calgary, I guess about 3 or 4 years ago now. So we're very happy to have Roger in the club and excited to hear what he has to tell us today.
Great. And Roger, take it from here.
Okay, so I'm quite the Luddite with these computers, but if somebody can share the screen and I'll try to do something here. I don't know.
It's available for sharing, Roger.
All right. So I'm going to hit share. I'm going to go from the beginning. So because as Kim, I just met Kim up in Canberra last weekend, and as she knows, I'm not much of a talker. So I put together just a couple of little slides so I can stumble through this. So yeah, my wife and I now live in the Lake Sundance in southern Calgary, but we have been associated with Calgary for a very, very long time. My wife came to Calgary in '72 from Yugoslavia, what was then Yugoslavia. I met her at the University of Montana, where we were getting our undergrads, and we were married in Calgary in 1990. And pretty quickly after that, I moved to the Puget Sound area of Washington, specifically Everett, Snohomish County, where I worked I'm a fish guy. So I worked in salmon habitat restoration, primarily freshwater restoration only, and did a lot of environmental education work. So a lot of hands-on fish stuff, a lot of native plant restoration, things with freshwater streams, freshwater lakes, that kind of thing. So I worked there until about 2005. We came back to Calgary. Suzanne has a lot of family in Calgary. So we came back to Calgary, where I worked as the Director of Education for Trout Unlimited Canada. Our national office was in Calgary at the time, and I worked here for 5 years, and then I went back to Puget Sound. I got a job offer back there, so I went back to Puget Sound, again, basically doing the same kind of thing, working in salmon habitat restoration / environmental education, where I finally retired from, and Suzanne had an Edward Jones office in Burlington, Washington, which is just south of Bellingham, about 30 miles south of Bellingham, about 70 miles north of Seattle. And she sold her office and retired from there 2 years ago. And then we moved back up to Calgary in June of 2024. We'd already purchased a house here 20 years ago. So we moved back up here in 24, primarily because Suzanne's parents are elderly and, needed some help. So that's how I wound up in Calgary finally for the foreseeable future. I was a member of the Burlington, Washington Rotary Club for a few years down there. My wife has been a member of that Rotary Club. She's a past president. She's been a member for, golly, I don't know, 15 years, maybe 20 years, quite a while. She stayed with the Burlington Club, and when we moved up to Calgary, Rob Martin, who introduced me to Judy and kind of pushed me into joining the RECCO Club, which works well with my schedule because I'm not always home, and I like to do other things than attend meetings, frankly. So that's how I wound up in Calgary. Prior to coming to Calgary, I rode the ranches in Montana for several years. I was in the military in the Arctic and in Alaska, in the U.S. military, before going to University of Montana. So, being a good Seattle boy, I have a picture of a wild Chinook salmon. I'm sorry, a hatchery Chinook salmon. I know it's hatchery because it's missing one of its fins. And like I said, I worked in a lot of streams and rivers in Snohomish County, Skagit County for a long time. And really, when you're talking about habitat restoration, I mentioned Trout Unlimited Canada. What's good for salmon is good for trout. So the two crossed over very easily. I did a lot of work on ocean acidification in college classes. and a lot of work in high schools and some elementary education programs down there. So that's kind of where I'm at professionally, or was at professionally, but that's not happening anymore. So in my private life, I have been a distance runner 40 years, 45 years, whatever the case is. So I've done a lot of marathons, a lot of ultra marathons. Everyone likes to say they're a distance runner. This is the start of a 100-mile race, which I did not complete in Western Washington, but here's the aftermath of that race. It was so hot that year that I've never had this happen before. The race directors asked everybody to stop at about 60 miles. Everybody was asked to stop, and frankly, I was only too happy to stop, as you can see. So I've done several ultra marathons, lots of regular marathons. I don't do those too much anymore. They're a little too fast for me anymore. My wife and I are also pretty good backpackers and hikers. We've done some long trails. We've done the Mount Rainier trail around Mount Rainier called the Wonderland Trail. We've done the trail in Skagway, Alaska, a couple of little trails up here. We've done a couple in Peru. Everyone, again, likes to put pretty pictures of backpacking. Here's the reality of backpacking. This is the Wonderland Trail all around Mount Rainier, and we got caught in a snowstorm, so we all shoved ourselves into a toilet and sat there and rode it out together and stayed nice and warm with a little bit odoriferous. So there were 5 of us in there that day, and we actually had to take turns with another group going in and out just to stay warm and stay out of the trail. But we still do, or stay out of the rain, and we still do a lot of backpacking and a lot of hiking, and looking forward to doing a lot more of that down here. August of 2024, Suzanne and I went to Africa for the second time and did a 10-day hike up Kilimanjaro, which was a beautiful trip only because somebody else was carrying most of our gear. We just carried day packs, and you have to have a guide company on the mountain. So we had a guide company, and they were marvelous. And this is us when we finally reached the top of the last night was a very, very long day. Don't plan on going back there very soon, but not because it was unpleasant, because we have other things to do. So I spend a lot of time with Rotary in Copan, Marinas, Honduras. This is just a quick picture of where the Rotarians stay that I go with. I manage a construction project. You're going to hear more about this in April for a group of Rotary clubs, primarily in Western Washington, Western Canada. There's about, 27 clubs. We sponsor 33 villages, and I manage the construction project end of that. I've been doing that. I've been involved in IPA for 12 years, doing the construction program, just taking over from somebody who's needs to get out of it. Frankly, I've been doing that for about a year. So with Rotary, I've been to Africa on a world grant. We went down and delivered computers to a village in Africa, and then I spent a lot of time in Honduras. I've been there a number of times. And we've all seen these pictures, but these are the reasons, that I went down there. These are some of the typical houses that we see now. The house on the left is actually a family that Suzanne and I sponsor in a village called La Laguna. And the one on the right is just something typical we see. The other thing that IPA does specifically is schools. When I first went down there 12 years ago, and I have trouble talking about this without choking up, the school on the left, you can see it says Escuela. It's supposed to say Escuela, so it says Escuela Jose Trinidad. So that's it's not just a shed, that's a real school down there. And so is the one on the right. And my first year down there, there were kids meeting in a chicken coop, and it just broke my heart. Just literally not used to be chicken coop. Like in the morning, they would take the chickens and scoot them out, and then the kids would come in and they would meet in a chicken coop. So we decided we had to get involved with that. I've been down there, like I say, I don't know, a dozen times. I'm going back for a month in April. We do a lot of education programs. Thank God I'm not involved in that because it's very confusing for me. Education is, or the construction is much easier. This is the inside of one of the schools down there. That's the outside of the same school. So IPA is going around and trying to clean up these schools, put roofs back on them where we can, get power, get water, build some latrines, that kind of thing. This is my wife on the left at a school we just adopted. Suzanne and I just adopted a school called Rio Blanco, and that's the same school on the right. And you can see it's in really, really good condition. That's because it was built by a Japanese nonprofit organization who then left it, but they left it in really, really good shape. So Suzanne and I are really lucky that we got, as far as I'm concerned, Rio Blanco. It's way back up in the hills, quite a ways out of Copan Ruinas. And when you go to these places down there, they typically kill a chicken and they make a chicken soup and they provide you a really good meal, even if we ask them not to do that because they're using their own resources to do that. And this is the inside of the Rio Blanco school. You can see there's nothing on the wall. There's a poster on the wall, nothing else. I'm going to correct that when I go down in April. Suzanne's biggest problem is not adopting children. So on the left, that little girl who looks really happy, one thing that IPA does is we give them uniforms, school uniforms. The girl on the left is in kindergarten or first grade, and just a few minutes before that, she was crying because this was the first white woman that she has ever seen. This was not the first white woman. All the other white women that she had seen come to the school were there to give her shots. So she assumed Suzanne was there to inoculate her for something, give her a shot for something. So she was pretty darn happy when Suzanne decided, or when she found out we were just there to give them school uniforms. And the one on the right, Suzanne was down there in October and adopted this young man whom I've yet to meet at another school down there. So yeah, we spent a lot of time in Honduras, looking forward to going back. The first thing we did down there on the right-hand side, there's a little stove, there's a little blue outline. That's a little round stove. We're trying to get them to replace those big, nasty wood burners on the left with those little stoves on the right because it's a lot healthier for them. And since then, we've branched off into education and, like I mentioned, a lot of construction projects that are very interesting to manage from several countries away. And this is our first project down there. We built a bridge. This is 14 years ago or 12 years ago. We built a bridge over a river, a little river that floods so much during the rainy season that they can't get back and forth to town. I can't get to town anyhow, frankly, there's no road. But anyhow, the Rotarians went down there. We took a bunch of power tools down there and built this bridge and loved it. And that's how I got involved with that. And that's about all there is to me. And I'll close this.
Wow, that is unbelievable. It just makes my heart sing when I hear about what Rotarians are doing everywhere. And thank you for sharing. That's just amazing. Anybody have any questions for
I
Rod?
have a question, if I may. ITA or IPA, what does that stand for?
International Project Alliance.
Okay, thank you.
It's also a really good beer, as you know.
Anyone else have any questions or comments?
I just have one question. You had mentioned, Roger, that the fish that you were holding, you knew that it was a farm fish because it was missing a fin?
It was a hatchery Chinook, but it was caught out on the sound. It was caught in the big water. Big water to me is Puget Sound, the ocean. That's what we call it, as big water. It was caught in the big water. And it's a hatchery because it's missing an adipose fin. So when we run them through the hatchery, we clip off, it's the little fin right behind the dorsal fin, right in front of the caudal peduncle, the tail basically. There's a little fleshy fin there. And we zap that off we basically burn it off in the hatchery.
Oh, interesting. I thought it
Why?
was some type of genetic mutation or something that.
No.
Why do you do that?
Primarily so we can identify them when they're
Oh.
caught. It's a fin that no longer has a use. Thousands of years ago, it probably did. We don't really understand why it was there, and it's simply a fleshy piece of their skin, and we send them through this little chute, and there's a little electrode that comes down and just burns it off, and the next one comes on. And we just do it to keep track of the wild fish as opposed to the hatchery fish, because we can only catch so many wild fish. The hatchery fish we can catch not as many as we want, but there's a higher quota on the hatchery fish.
Okay, if there are no other questions or comments, we'll go right to the induction of our newest member, Bill Gordon. And we are very happy to welcome Bill into the membership of our club. Bill has previously been a member of the Rotary Club of Fort Saskatchewan. And I'm just going to tell you a little bit about Bill. So he is going to be having the classification of educational services. He's a former resident of Lethbridge, Alberta, where he met his wife, Jean, when he was a high school student and she was a junior in high school. They were married at ages 21 and 19 and have two boys, one who lives in Alabama and the other son is, I guess, moving to Thailand this year. Bill and Jean moved to Fort Saskatchewan when their family was young, and Bill began teaching at the local high school. He was also a school guidance counselor and very involved with several youth organizations in the school. After Bill's retirement a few years ago, he became a board member of the Altview Foundation for Gender and Sexual Minorities in rural Alberta. Over the years, Bill was very active with 4-H clubs, and he started an organization called the Loyal Order of PUP, P-U-P, Practitioners of Underground Philanthropy. As a guest speaker, Bill has traveled from Lethbridge, Alberta to Port Hardy, BC, to Port Hawkesbury, Nova Scotia, doing presentations on the power of kindness. Kindness was one of the most attractive features of becoming a Rotarian, where Bill states he has met many kind people. Bill became a member of the Fort Saskatchewan Rotary Club about 13 years ago, and he has held several positions on their board of directors leading up to president. He was also a member of the Waterton Glacier International Peace Park Association, and he ended up being president there in 2015. Since its inception, Bill and the Rotary Club of Fort Saskatchewan have been involved with the outdoor summer concert series at the Legacy Park Bandshell in Fort Saskatchewan. And I know that's a project near and dear to his heart. So Bill, we're happy that you've decided to transfer to our club. The principles and practices of Rotary and the obligations of being a Rotarian are well known to you through your former membership at the Rotary Club of Fort Saskatchewan. Fellow Rotarians, would you please join me in welcoming our newest Rotarian, Bill Gordon, into our club? Welcome, Bill.
Well, thank you very much.
Huh?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Judy. I'm really pleased that you exist as a club. The sad news was that our club in its 31st year closed this year on the 31st of December. And there are three of us who are still active because we have to go through all of the things you do legally to close down the society in the province of Alberta, the connections we have with the Gaming and Liquor Commission. I'm the treasurer and have been for about 5 years. And so my role is still ongoing until all assets are cleared and all our donations are completed. We're down to our last $600 of cash. And once our last bits of business are done, then we will finally cease to exist. So a very sad occasion to go through that. And I knew of the E Club. I met Jim many years ago at a district convention and chatted with him about the E Club and what it involved. I wasn't looking for a club at that time, of course, but the minute I knew that we were heading toward closure as a club, then I right away thought of the E Club of Canada One as a good fit for me. Now having one son and his family in Auburn, Alabama, and the other son who moves into his 1 year lease in Thailand at the end of this week. Uh, and we have a timeshare in Hawaii, so we're on the road quite a bit. Not as many as some of you, but enough that this is a really good fit for me. It allows me to keep in touch with Rotary. I found a great volunteer opportunity that I start in February with an environmental group here in Sherwood Park that won a national award for their work in what's called the Hodgepodge Lodge, which allows people to bring really things that they're not garage sales people. They would just like to donate things, and anybody can go and, oh, I've always needed that. And they've recycled 2 million pounds of product that would have ended up in landfills in the last couple of years. And so I've joined them as a volunteer, and I'll be doing 12, 15 hours a month as one of their 150 volunteers that operate that 5 days a week. So, and this allows me to stay in touch through Bring Rotary. I'll be certainly wearing Rotary shirts when I go to do my volunteer work there. And if they ask me, then I can tell them about this club. So I'm really pleased to join, and thank you for allowing me to do so.
Wow, that sounds so interesting, that project.
It is. It's I've been a recipient in the donor side, but my wife says if I ever bring anything home,
Yeah.
Where do the products go? Do people just buy them like in a garage sale, or?
they don't buy them at all. They're free.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, you can go in once a day, you can stay an hour, and it's an actual building. There's a huge environmental center, recycle center here in Sherwood Park that take in electronics and they're open 5 days a week as well. And there's a place for compost materials, and it's really well run. And this is a side set to that was started by volunteers. It used to be just a little kind of little shack you buy at Canadian Tire to put your lawnmowers and stuff in, and it's now a full-size building with indoor and outdoor sections, and people bring all kinds of things. The volunteers sort them, make sure that they are fit to be used, and or recycle them if they aren't. You find a way to recycle. That's right next door, a big recycle center. And so it's allowed people to downsize, as we did, from 4 bedroom house to a 1 bedroom condo. And knowing that we're not sitting in the garage, sitting in the driveway kind of people to sell stuff. So
Yeah.
we just said, they don't take furniture. We don't take furniture, but everything else is there. And teachers love it because they can go and get school supplies, hundreds of binders, all that kind of thing at no cost. So it's a good way to keep stuff out of the landfill and to help people downsize, or young people maybe to get some things for their house that they didn't have, so it's good that way.
That's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Good for you. Well, next on our agenda is special Rotary memories or moments. And do you want to take it from here, Kim? Kim?
Hi.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was something that our DG had said that it would be good for us to think about why we're in Rotary and what has made Rotary special for us. So I thought we could just allow people at the end of our fellowships, if they have something special to say about why they're in Rotary or one of the special moments that have touched their hearts being in Rotary, that it would be nice for us. Do we have a volunteer?
Yeah, I was supposed to do that as part of my my thing, so I'll start it off. It says that Bill will respond to that one special Rotary memory, so I better do that. Mine, I joined back in 2013 as when I started 12, 13 year. But my memory comes from the 2015-16 year. Tim Shields was our district governor. I went to my first district conference in Dawson Creek. Chris Hadfield, was astronaut, was the keynote speaker. it was my first experience at a district conference. We went up on a bus, a whole bunch of people, Rotarians that I was meeting for the first time. I was the only one from my club, but I met people from all over the Edmonton area. It picked up people on the highway at little towns, jumped on the bus. We kept going up to Dawson Creek. It was a really great experience, but the special memory was one of the goals that day, that conference, was to fill tens of thousands of bags of food, which are special food supplements that many of you probably do as well. One bag feeds 6 people for a day, and all the Rotarians got together, signed up for shifts, and I forget how many tens of thousands of bags we filled at that convention. But the nice thing was that every team of 5 filling bags had to have somebody from a club that you didn't belong to. And so it was really wonderful to have 5 people around from all over the district working together for this one single purpose. I'd never seen that. And I've been involved in about half dozen of those since, with the Sherwood Park Club of the area, who do that annually. But that's my special Rotary moment that got me really involved in Rotary for the first time.
Awesome. If you noticed, everyone, Ann Lisa commented it's also one of her most special memories in Rotary.
Kit.
Well, there goes my voice. Thank you, Kitty. But one of the special memories was this past summer at the International Convention. We had a large display for helping Rotarians aiding Ukrainians, and magically there was a swarm of RECCO Rotarians who swarmed the exhibit, and we got to see young Gail, for goodness sakes, and he has a body. He's not just a head and a shoulder. And that was almost, well, it was overwhelming, but to have that happen. And then the other one was actually the way Dieter and I started our married life. He'd been a Rotarian. He's for like 31 years. I, of course, was not born when he started Rotary, but when it was time to decide what we wanted to do about a ring, he said, so is this going to be a giant diamond or something? And I said, let's make a gift to Rotary. So you all are in our engagement ring, and it's been that way for forever. Memories.
So
That's wonderful.
I think I'd have to agree with Kit. Meeting everybody all together, 90% of our club that have never seen each other in person, or most of us in Calgary, was a very special event. And sharing it in that beautiful condo of Ann Lisa's overlooking Calgary and the mountains, it'll take something to really replace that for me.
Yes. And although we are a club that mostly just sees each other's faces once a month, for me, being president, it was just unbelievable to see how everybody really looks, and their whole body, not just their face.
Yeah.
And it was, although we only see each other this way, I think that we're a very close-knit group.
Yeah.
It's just as good as being in another, Terra Rotary Club, in my opinion. I just love it.
Yeah, and I think also we are, I think, profoundly involved in each other's joys and sorrows. I don't know how this happens, but we know each other's families. We know of marvelous things that they're doing. It's a really unique group of people, and I don't know that it exists anywhere else.
I think that's probably because when we have our coffee chats, which is every week at 8 in the morning at Edmonton time, but difference between going to a Terra Club, when you go to a Terra Club, you have your 20 minutes of visiting, but you only visit with maybe 1 or 2 people and find out what they've been up to for the last week or what's important in their life. You can belong to a club for 10 years and really not know what's going on with a lot of the people. But it was in ours, because we're all here together, we can share, and we'll find out the same thing at the same time. To me, that's really, really great.
I can share a Rotary memory.
Good, great,
about,
Joan.
what was it, 8 years ago, the international conference was in Toronto. Was it 8 years ago? Anyway, that was my first international conference. And I remember walking in to the hotel and looking around, and there were people dressed in African clothes. There were people dressed in Indian there was people speaking French. There was all these different languages and people from everywhere. And I just stood there in amazement, thinking, my goodness, all of these people are Rotarians. And my husband looked at me and he said, you just look like you're kind of in a dream. And so there's nothing like going to an international conference to really understanding the immensity of Rotary.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Who would also like to share? Doug.
We have to. I just want to say, yeah, we're good.
You're on mute.
Yeah, thanks, Judy. Yeah, what a wonderful group of people. Our club keeps evolving, and we've got these amazing people that we keep on attracting. And I'm just overwhelmed with the individuals that make up our club. But my Rotary moment was one of my Rotary moments was my Campbell River Club that I belong to on Vancouver Island. We were able to fundraise and fill a container full of wheelchairs with Wheelchair Canada, and we took them to Mexico. And I was able to go down and be part of the distribution team. And we offloaded the container, and some of them were distributed right in the plaza, which was quite amazing, profound, fun time. And Mexico has so much marvelous people. But we also took wheelchairs in vans, and we took them out into the rural areas. And at one point, we took a wheelchair to a little, you can imagine what these places are like. I don't have to explain it to you. But they brought out a woman, and her mobility device was a plastic chair. And she had never known anything other than this plastic chair. And every time she had to go somewhere, somebody came and picked her up and carried her to the next place. We picked her up out of that plastic chair and put her in a wheelchair. And it's just, the gift of mobility is so profound when you see it firsthand, just to be able to, she realized that she could go wherever she wanted without having to ask. And, the tears flowed. It was just, a really life-moving experience.
Wonderful. Did I see another hand go up? Was it Lois?
Yeah.
I guess you've heard me say this before, and my most memorable Rotary experience, and I guess I can now say I've been a Rotarian for a year.
Yes.
Having, the distinct pleasure of going to the International Convention in Calgary and to stay with my good friend Ann Lisa, and for she and I to experience that together. And Joan, like I was the same as you. It was the cornucopia of languages, of national costumes. And as I was sharing with people, I said, I'm hanging out in Calgary with 15,000 of my new best friends. And I came away from that convention so invigorated, and to think that the state that the world is in right now, that there is hope to be with that many people who have a common goal to do good in the world. So I think I'll have to go some in my Rotary life to, go beyond that experience, because it was mind blowing. And as you've said, Judy, to be able to meet everybody in person, some of the people I had met before, but the friendships that I've made, even though we don't see each other in the flesh, it's just great. And I'm glad that my friend Keith brought me in, kicking and screaming after years and years of poking and prodding. So thanks again, Keith.
Juanita?
Yes, I'd like to share something too. Our club got a grant to buy, to set up 2 peace poles in Mexico. Now, I live in Laredo and we just crossed a bridge into Mexico. It's like, just crossing a bridge. So we were able to set that up in Nuevo Laredo, Mexico, and it was one was at an elementary school and one was at a middle high school. And it was, just amazing the activities they came up with to celebrate the peace pole. I mean, they had all kinds of activities. I was so impressed with a high school because they were coming up with ideas on how they could, become better students and get along better. And they just had just an overwhelming number of activities dealing with peace. And that, being an ex-educator or retired educator, that was very, very moving. And so I just wanted to share that. The peace poles are wonderful to set up because they bring a lot of activities and improve the environment altogether.
Thank you. David.
Yeah. In my previous club, I went to southern India on a Carl P. Miller Discovery Grant. And the club there, we took a boat and went out to an island, and it was really just a sandbank where these people lived. And this was to provide, our goal was to provide water. And the ponds that they were drinking out of, I've said before, I wouldn't have, I don't think my dog would have wanted to drink out of that. And, so we provided $80,000 for collecting rainwater and the tanks to put them in. And it was a really moving moment. When we got off the boat, the people came and the natives came and put garlands around their neck, and we were really honored to be there. And the photos that the club there sent in Goshen was proof that it was really going to help these people.
Awesome.
Yep.
Anyone else?
I just want to say that I keep a gratitude journal, and at least once a week I say I'm grateful for Rotary because it gives me hope in the world.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sounds like you should suggest that as a theme for a Rotary year in the future, if it hasn't already been one. Hope for the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, I guess I should share my Rotary moment. I was just doing some calculations. I've only been a Rotary member since 2009, but I became a Rotarian, even though I was very late joining, 44 years ago, because I just realized 44 years ago this month, I was on my way from a very rural place in Nova Scotia to Sydney, Australia, on a Rotary International scholarship to do an LLM degree at the University of Sydney. And it took me 2 months to get to Australia. When you apply for a Rotary, or when you applied for an ambassadorial scholarship in those days, you had to specify 5 universities that you might like to study at. And being from Cape Breton in Nova Scotia, I decided if somebody was going to pay me for a year, I wanted to go as far away from where I was as possible to study. So I picked 2 universities in New Zealand and 3 universities in Australia. and they awarded me a scholarship to study at the University of Sydney in Australia. So I spent 2 months getting there, and probably about this time, 44 years ago, I was probably in Hong Kong waiting to go into the People's Republic of China for a 16-day tour in the first year that China was actually open for foreign tourists to travel. So at that stage, it was certainly a different China than it is today. The mode of transport was bicycle, and they had very, very few cars. So it was an interesting experience. But the Rotary Ambassadorial Scholarship experience was phenomenal. You get assigned to a host club. And my host club were wonderful in terms of various people sort of did lots of things with the international students that were in the city at the time, and had some sort of friendships that developed that lasted for decades. So as I say, it was my first Rotary experience. It was a phenomenal experience. And my biggest regret, I think, was taking so long to actually join Rotary and pay back the experience that it gave me, as I say, 44 years ago this year.
And that probably changed your whole life direction, taking that.
Absolutely, yeah. As you know, I've now lived more outside of Canada than in Canada.
Inside, yeah.
That would not have happened had it not been for that sort of year internationally in 1981, 82.
I think that we can all agree that Rotary has changed all of our lives and our outlook on the world.
Yeah.
You know, I know I've been a member since 1992, so a long time. And before I joined Rotary, I really had no idea. You know, I mean, you live in your own little bubble in your own city, and you don't really understand what a organization like Rotary does to improve the world, really. And I think right from the first time I went again to the Rotary convention, first one that I went to was in Indianapolis, was because I was incoming president for my club, and that was in 1998. And again, like everyone else, I was blown away by that. But I think that the impact on me is going around and, all of the going around to the House of Friendship and seeing all the booths of what all the Rotary clubs are doing everywhere. I just couldn't believe it. I just, and then it just gets bigger and better. So I think we're all very, very lucky to belong to this great organization.
Tammy, do we have time for a short video?
Oh, yeah.
3 minutes left, right?
Yeah, it's 3 minutes long, exactly.
4 minutes. 4 minutes left. Yes.
Go for it.
Okay, let's have a look here. Do you still have to? Oh, yeah, there it is. Let's have a look. Okay. I've had many Rotary moments since I first joined the Rotary Club of Stony Plain in 2005. The memories just seem to roll one into another, but I'll talk about two in particular. One of the most memorable Rotary moments was visiting the migrant camps in Colima, Mexico, as part of a Project Amigo trip. For background info, Project Amigo was informally started by a Rotarian couple in 1984, Ted Rose and Susan Hill from the Rotary Club of Novato in California. I had the pleasure of meeting Ted Rose when Jocelyn and I visited Project Amigo in February of 2019. There we were able to go into the concrete structures that housed some of the migrant families that had moved there for work. The living quarters, toilet, and washing facilities were funded mostly by Rotarians and Rotary clubs, and along with the Mexican government and some other organizations. A fun field trip for some of the younger migrant children had been organized. And I can say that I've never seen such well-behaved children that were impeccably dressed that day. They really had a great time. Another great initiative was our own E-Club Dolly Parton project that is still supplying reading books to mostly Aboriginal children in the Beaufort Sea area of Canada's north. RECCO past president Lynn Ternosky actually flew up to Tuktoyaktuk NWT to see firsthand how the program was helping the children and how it was being implemented. One of the main advantages of supplying books to children between the ages of 1 and 5 years of age is that the older family members will help them to read the books, which can actually help the adults to increase their literacy as well. Our E-Club had great support in the DPIL project from individuals and Rotary clubs, and we all love to see the pictures from the Arctic Circle region of the children with their books. I could go on, but these two projects bring up a lot of pride in being a Rotarian and lending other people a helping hand.
Thank you, Jim, for sharing that.
Awesome.
Your experiences with Project Amigo mirror mine. I was also on the same trip that Jim and Jocelyn were on in 2019, but the first time I went there was in about 2002 and saw it before our Rotary built those what are they called? The cement water, the places where the women do.
Yeah, the structures.
We were there when the year that we were building it. We helped with that, and it's just amazing what we were able to do in that little village, and it is lots of great Rotary moments for all of us. Thank you for sharing.
You're
So
welcome.
I guess that wraps up our meeting for today. Did anybody else have anything quickly to say? Yes, Juanita?
So I'd like to just send out an invitation to anyone that would like to visit our meeting. We meet on the third Tuesday of the month in the evening at 6:30 Central Time. Judy and Tammy have my contact information, so I'll be glad to share the link, and
Great.
we'd love to see you there.
Okay, that's awesome. I'll put it in the bulletin. Yeah,
Great.
this way. Kitty, did you happen to get a picture of the group at all? A screenshot?
I think I did.
Okay, good. Yeah.
I hope so. It's
Okay.
Less now than it was.
Good. Great. I took one too. So between the two of us, hopefully we'll have one to put in the bulletin.
Great.
Okay, that's fantastic, everyone. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see everyone at coffee next week or the Fellowship Assembly in February.
Great. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Bill.
Bye, everybody.
See you
Thank
later.
you.